If you're pregnant, a huge question that probably sits in the back of your mind all the time is, what does labor feel like? I know I wondered that all the time when I was pregnant. Yes, me, who explained to hundreds of patients what to expect to feel when they go into labor. I still couldn't explain it firsthand until, of course, I went into labor myself with my second child. And while I had 4 kids total, 3 of my 4 kids were breech and were delivered C-section. But my second baby cooperatively grew in my tummy head down, allowing me to experience labor and a vaginal delivery. And I want to share my experience with you, but before I do, I reached out to you guys, my amazing audience, to see if any of you would also be willing to share with us what it felt like to go into labor, and you didn't disappoint. So today you'll be hearing the labor story of 3 women, including myself, but not until the end of this video. Instead, I want to introduce you to Jocelyn, who's going to be sharing her experience with us now. So, Jocelyn, take it away.
Hi everyone, my name is Jocelyn, and today I will be sharing the birth story of my second child, who ended up being an unplanned home birth. I had hoped to go to the hospital and have an epidural, but that wasn't the way things went. So contractions started around 1 a.m. They were every 7 to 8 minutes apart. So I thought, I've got lots of time. My first labor was super slow, so I was wanting to kill time and relax, so I watched some TV, tried to get some shut-eye. A few hours later, I went to go use the washroom, and as I sat down, contractions went from 0 to 100. I had 2 contractions right away, so basically 30 seconds apart, and I was like, oh no, what do I do? So I called my midwife, and she said she would be there in about 20 minutes, but have your stuff ready to go to the hospital, get your bags packed, and be ready to leave. So I went and I woke up my husband, and he was very confused. So basically the next 15 minutes or so of waiting for the midwife to come, we were packing our bags. I was running up and down the stairs, moving the suitcases. We're trying to feed the animals, all the good stuff. All of a sudden I felt my body was ready to push, so that the top of my stomach was like just tightening, just bearing down. By that point, I went to the washroom and there was lots of bleeding, which was new, and so that was very scary. I called the midwife back and was like, ah! Fortunately, she was right outside of the door, our door, so we let her in, and she basically said, you're not going to make it to the hospital. Is there somewhere that you would like to lay down? And I said, yep, we'll go upstairs. So we ran up the stairs, and again I ran to the washroom because that's what you do. And by that point the midwife could see the membrane sac, and she said, okay, the next break in contractions, you go to the bed. So we did just that, and there was 1 push for the head, 1 push for the body, and that was that. He was here. Overall, like I'm so proud of myself. I never would have imagined that I would be able to do an unmedicated birth, but your body knows what to do at that time, and I'm so happy that I got to experience such a wonderful thing. And yeah, it ended up being a really super positive experience, and so grateful to have a midwife who comes to your house. Bye.
This is my birth story of this little guy right here that I'm holding. He's currently sleeping. His name is Elias. My contractions started at 10:30, and I gave birth to him by 10:30 p.m., gave birth to him at 3:30 a.m. So 5 hours of labor. My contractions started at 10:30, and they started out pretty close, about 7 minutes apart. And then probably about 2 a.m., they got to like 3 to 5 minutes apart, and they were 3 to 5 minutes apart, well over an hour. So me and my husband decided to go to labor and delivery. We left the house about 2 a.m. We got to the hospital at 2:30 a.m. Whenever I got there, they checked my cervix, and she's like, oh my gosh, you are 9.5 centimeters. And then they called my doctor. They're like, hey, you need to get up here right now. You have a 9.5. So they were rushing me to the delivery room, getting me hooked up. I was wearing my t-shirt still. Like, I didn't get a chance to do anything. I didn't get a chance to change or anything, like even really process what was going on, because everything was happening so fast. Again, this is at 2:30 a.m. that this started. Whenever we got to the room, the doctor asked if I wanted my water broke. So I said yes, let's go ahead and get this over with. No epidural, all natural. I pushed for 5 minutes and this little guy was here at 3:30 a.m. So 5 hours of labor and only 5 minutes of pushing. I'll take that any day.
One take home for you to remember before I share my story is that however you imagined your birth is going to go like, there is a good chance that it's not going to be how it turns out. It's going to be completely different from what you imagined. There are complications, changes, unexpected things that may make your labor harder or easier, pleasant, or even disappointing. But so much of that is out of our hands, and ultimately it doesn't matter as long as at the end of your journey you have brought a new life into this world. All the difficulties of labor are worth it. Now for me, I was 39.5 weeks when I went into labor, and even though it was my second pregnancy, my family had thrown me a surprise baby shower. And before I went to the shower, I stopped off at Target to check out a few baby items. While I was there, I could feel Braxton Hicks contractions, which I'd been feeling throughout my entire third trimester, but I did notice that even though they weren't more painful, they were sort of regular. I could time them, and there was definitely a solid interval between each contraction. They just didn't hurt. It was just a tightening feeling. Anyways, went to Target, then went to my sister-in-law's house, was surprised by a baby shower, sat through the whole shower, didn't even think about contractions. I don't think I was really feeling them anymore. Ate cake, opened presents, and then went home. We stopped off at my mom's house to take a shower because we had literally just bought our new house. We'd gotten the keys 3 days earlier and we didn't have hot water in our house. Furniture set up like nothing. It was kind of a crazy move right in the middle of all of this. But so I stopped off at my mom's house to take a quick shower before we went to our house. While I was showering, I started to notice those Braxton Hicks contractions. I noted them. I noted again that they were kind of regular but not painful. However, when I got out of the shower, I felt a different contraction, and I immediately knew this was like the real deal kind of a contraction. It was hard. It was painful. Like it was vastly different from all of the Braxton Hicks contractions by a long shot. Like the very first contraction, I knew it was time.
Get out of the way. Go, go, go.
My husband was in the shower, so he finished up, but we had a lot that we had to do. Like I couldn't go to the hospital yet. I wanted to put to bed. It was like 10 o'clock at night at this point. I wanted to put him to bed. I needed to call our babysitter to come over to be with him, and I didn't want him to be alarmed, so I wanted him to be asleep. So we got him home. We laid down on our mattress, which is still on the floor because our bed wasn't set up yet, and I laid with him until he fell asleep. Those were definitely the most painful contractions. I didn't want to alarm him. I didn't want to express any discomfort or even tighten my muscles during contractions. It would have disturbed him from falling asleep. So I had to just breathe through it calmly until he finally did go to sleep. Now at my hospital, they had a rule, I think it was like 45 minutes from the time that you ask for an epidural, you were supposed to be given an epidural. By the way, I admire all of you that choose to do labor naturally, but for me, I wanted an epidural. So I remember checking in and saying, "Hi, my name is Diana. I am in labor and I want my epidural." And I said that because I wanted that clock to start. I wanted that epidural as soon as I could get it. Anyways, I went into the hospital. 45 minutes later, they gave me an epidural. And then about 3 hours later, I delivered my baby. It was very smooth. I pushed maybe 4 or 5 times, and then she came out. It was the most amazing experience ever. It was hectic at first, but nothing too crazy. The biggest thing for me was just how significant that first labor contraction was, how obviously different it was from Braxton Hicks contractions. I hope that it was helpful for you to hear what other people's experiences were as you are preparing for your own delivery. Whatever the case, if you want to share your story when you deliver your baby, I would like to do more videos like this to help other women know what it's like what the experience is like for them, even though it's all different. I think it's calming to hear other people's experiences when they go to labor. So hey, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you do want to share your experience, put that in the comment section below. I can message you back and tell you how you can do that as well. If you want to know the difference between true labor contractions and Braxton Hicks contractions beyond just pain, I have done a video all about that. I'm going to link to that video right here. Click on that and we will see you over there.